So here's some things.
All right, and here we are once again, folks, with the Some Things Podcast episode. Is it 7 now?
Episode 7, yeah.
Lucky number 7. All right. And if you can't already tell, folks, I am Dylan, and I'm joined once again with my co-host
Luke once again.
Yes. And we do apologize this week. We did get John into some rehab for that peanut butter addiction, but our bad for kind of rescheduling and unscheduling when we should have recorded the podcast with all three of us. So my apologies go out to John. I'm sorry. I hope you're not too heartbroken. We do love you and miss you. And we
To
want you to come
John
back.
and his family.
Yes.
We told him that we missed his lovely bearded voice,
We did.
so hopefully we'll have him back for the next episode. So stay tuned.
Yeah. If you guys don't know John in person, he's got a really nice neck beard, and I really dig it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like just like another year more. If he lets it grow another year, he'll be Duck Dynasty.
Yeah, he could totally look like even some of your cousins. What, like the Mennonite people? It's someone like Amish, but
Yeah.
Get that. I don't even know how people do it, man. I've let my beard grow out so much, but it never gets past maybe like an inch or so off my face. So like my chin, my neck, wherever. It doesn't get that thick.
Well, you just got to practice.
Practice.
Yeah, just put in the work.
Okay. Do like lifting weights, or how should I go about it?
I don't really know. I don't have a big beard.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. You're giving me the tips right now, and I'm just like kind of lost in this this conversation. I'm like, wait, how is he giving
We
me
should have
tips?
just asked John. Why did we ask the people that struggle to grow a beard?
But John's not here. So
Well, you don't really struggle to grow a beard. It's just...
it just doesn't get as thick or full. So that's my dilemma, folks. You know,
I don't know.
If you grow beards, let us know what your tips are.
Yes, please.
And we
Just
don't
tell us what your tips are, and then by the end of this year, we'll see how big of a beard we have.
Yeah, we don't discriminate. If you're a woman and you have a thick beard, just let us know. Like, if you're a circus performer.
Yeah. If your dog has a beard, let us know. If your cat has a beard, let us know what they're doing. If it's a diet thing, a workout thing, let us know.
Oh, yeah, of course.
What do we have today, Dylan? What do we have to look forward to?
We have a lot to look forward to, Luke. I know there's been a lot of talk in the sports world, a lot of crazy things going on. We just ended week 1 of the NFL opening season, so regular season games. We'll get through some highlights for that.
Brace yourself. Lots of football updates.
Yes, but that'll probably be the longest segment of this episode, I'll be honest. But hey, you know what? Well, we still got a lot to talk about. We try to, like I said, we try to hit all categories, all areas of our life. And, speaking of life, I've been telling you guys for the last couple of weeks, starting back in July, I've been going through this dieting program, this workout routine and everything with my work for the weight loss competition.
Do we get to hear the results this week?
We do get to hear the results, Luke.
Ooh.
And I'm sad to report that my coworker, the last weigh-in, ended up gaining weight.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, but
that happens.
yeah, and thankfully though, I lost over 6 pounds. What up?
Hey,
Hey-o.
look at you.
Yeah, your boy is now
Wait,
down.
this week?
Well, yeah, this last week, the last weigh-in.
Wow.
I know, I was crushing it, man. I was
Yeah.
making sure I was getting in double workouts after work, and I was going crazy at work when I was working. So I was getting in the zone, man. And it paid off. I got, and let's see, like I said, I lost over 6 pounds this week for a total weight loss of over 28 pounds.
Wow.
It was, percentage-wise, it was about 12.5% of my actual body weight, because I started again at 222, but
Yeah.
since working at this company, I've probably dropped easily over 30 pounds, which
Yeah.
I'm more than happy about. Again, I'm fitting into clothes. I'm feeling good about myself. Even my shorts, man, I have to like super tighten my belt so that they actually stay on. Like
You and I are looking identical.
I just need some more of your height, and then I'd be happy. But I mean, I am still happy with the weight loss. But yes, so with that being said, our team were the victors.
Hey!
Yes, we lost enough weight to beat out the second team, because it was neck and neck last week, like I talked about, where we were both at about. We were just under, I think, 6%, but the other team was less than a full percent behind us.
Yeah.
And so I was telling my teammates, like, all right, we got to really pull through this week. And so my 2 other coworkers lost 5 pounds between them. I lost the 6. And so I lost enough to actually counteract the 4 ounces. That's what it was that my other teammate gained.
Wow.
But yeah, so we ended up jumping from that 5% all the way to like 7.5.
Good
so
for
we,
you guys.
Yeah. So we killed it. We got first place. So
And way to lead the team.
oh yeah, I know, man. I was like, come on, we can do it. But yeah, so like I said, I ended up, our team won, and then they actually had an individual contest as well for whoever lost the most just overall in the contest.
And who was that?
That was your boy.
Oh.
Yeah, I killed it. I don't even know what the next runner-up would have been, but like I said, I lost close to 30 pounds, and I got the win, and I was happy because that's another couple $100 coming my way.
Wow. Guys, it's a shame that this is just an audio podcast and you don't get to look at Dylan every week. He's looking, well, he's married, but like...
Am I looking swazzy?
He's looking swazzy, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm super excited about that. I wasn't too happy though. I did go out and celebrate a few nights this week, so I'm like, okay, I got to get back on track. But I ain't quitting yet. I'm still aiming to get down to 180-ish. If I'm lucky, maybe even 170. But that'll kind of come in the future. We'll see what happens with that.
Right. And how tall are you?
5'10". So
you could do 180. You'd be fine.
Yeah, that's what I figured too. Because again, I know a lot of the workout regimens I'm going through right now are part muscle building and cardio, so it's not necessarily just me jogging and running for hours on end. So I will be putting on mass at the same time I'm losing fat.
Yeah, it's like I'm 6'1" and 180.
Right.
But I'm a thin guy. Mm-hmm. You're a beefier dude than me.
But I just
like beefy in a good way.
No. Yeah, I wasn't taking that as a negative comment. I just I want to be more lean. For me, it's always like my stomach area. That's where I tend to hold all my weight and a little bit of my thighs. But one of the positives is I have noticed, like I said, with my shorts shrinking more, my waist size shrinking. My thighs, I don't have like that chub rub anymore, where it's like just oh gosh, man. If you ever when you get fat, I'm not trying to call anyone in the audience fat, but if you are a little bigger like myself and how I used to be, you know what I'm talking about when you go to like an amusement park or anywhere else, and you're constantly walking, and then by the end of the day you just have these 2 chafe marks on your thighs because it's just nothing but.
Well, I get that at the beach whenever I'm walking around in a wet swimsuit.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't think you would. I mean, again, like you said, you're a lanky, lean dude.
Well, it's more like the swimsuit chafes my legs.
Oh, do you have like one of those swimsuits that has like the webbing or like the netting on the inside? No?
No. But
Weird.
to counteract it, I just wear like some compression shorts.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because that way again, and that's what kind of do too. Not to get too personal, but my boxer briefs kind of cover my thighs in that area. But yeah, so super excited about that. Still going strong. Still hoping to lose more weight, and I have no plans of stopping anytime soon. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I don't even know how I forgot, but I apologize to my fans. If you haven't seen the photos that Luke posted on Instagram or on our Facebook page, I went to the Halo convention a couple weeks back, and I had a super good time at that convention, Luke. Sadly, I was a little disappointed. I went with my friend. Shout out to Daniel. And so we went to the convention, and we showed up early, and we saw on the itinerary that they were actually going to have the voices of Cortana and Spartan, John Spartan, Master Chief at the convention. But apparently, you had to be there at say 6:30 in the morning to get your ticket, and then they would have given you another ticket that said, oh, you're one of the early people who came to register, so you get one of the few passes to actually go meet and greet and get the signatures from them. And so I was a little bummed out about that, but all in all, the convention was awesome. They had an escape room. They had this cool little virtual tour of one of the Halo rings. Wasn't super long, but still awesome to see.
One of the Halo rings.
Yeah, so you actually got to kind of glide over, and it was weird because if you think of anything like say in a Disney California Adventure, how they have that Soar in California ride, where you get strapped in and they put you in front of a giant screen. They didn't have like the seats that lifted up like that, but it was still pretty cool because you walked in this room and you were just encased in this dome of a screen, and you would actually walk up to these not necessarily platforms, but these bars that were kind of spaced out, and so you'd get like lines of people going across the room, and so they turn the visual thing on the screen, and you actually go through, and like I said, it was a virtual tour. And even though you weren't actually sitting down or getting lifted up or anything like that, it was still, you're still, I don't know if it's just because you're so close to the screen and it just kind of encompasses all your vision, but you felt like you were moving like within a spaceship kind of thing. So that was pretty fun. And like I said, they did an escape room there, which I was excited about. Probably could have been a little longer, but still fun. And then they had a few cosplayers, people dressed up in Spartan armor. You got to do the whole size comparison thing with how tall you are compared to the actual enemies.
You compared sizes with an alien.
Yes, dude.
Wow.
And the elites and people don't think about this, but John Spartan's actually like 7 feet tall, and so when you're playing,
he's genetically engineered, right?
Yeah, so he was a genetically engineered super soldier pretty much, and so you add that plus the armor and everything. He's a giant guy, and then with any other normal human, again, I'm actually over. I believe, a little over average height for a male in America. You're
really?
Yeah, you're obviously well above it because you're over 6 feet.
Because I'm taller than you.
Yeah, exactly. And but so yeah, I actually compared. I think the only things I beat were the grunt and the drone, which is that flying insect throughout the game. And because the next one up from that is the jackal, and that's at 6 feet.
Really?
Jackals are tall,
I got
dude.
a jackal beat.
Yeah, and then the next, I think from that, they showed the engineer and the prophets. I think those are the next two. And then the brute, the elite, the brute, and then the hunters. And hunters, if you saw the Facebook photo, I am a insect compared to that thing. It's well over, I think close to like 12 feet tall or whatever the heck it is. It's huge. But no, all in all, it was pretty fun. Got a nice T-shirt for like a souvenir to remember the moment. And like I said, I had a fun time. I hope to bring it back next year to Anaheim again and maybe just expand a little more on some things. But yeah, overall fun experience.
Well, you looked like a Spartan when you got back.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I didn't have the armor though.
Well, no.
No.
But you do have those Nerf guns.
Yes. Oh my gosh, folks. Okay, so the last night we had some friends over. My wife and I were at our house, and we were watching the football game and everything. And after it ended, I pulled out all the different. If you go on Amazon, there's a company called Boomco, and they make these legit Halo-looking weapons.
Boomco, sponsor us.
Yeah, I don't know if they're still in business. I hope they are, but
oh, that was quick.
Yeah, I know. It's I hope they do. I know they were partnered with Toys R Us, and if you haven't heard, for months ago now, at the client closer to the beginning of the year, Toys R Us did shut down.
Yeah,
but. Anyway, back to Boomco and what they do make. Their weapons, if you check on Amazon, they actually make assault rifles, brute spikers, and if you play the Halo games, you know what I'm talking about. Also the SMGs, pistols, all kinds of different varying weapons of actual game weapons from the Halo franchise. And so all that being said is I bought several of these. So I had 2 of the SMGs, 2 of the brute spikers, a pistol, an assault rifle, and even the shotgun. And so after the football game, we just ended up going crazy. Me, Luke, and whoever else was at the house just shooting each other.
It was a war zone. Like I'm talking about, slide across the wood floor in your socks, dip down, grab yourself a handful of bullets,
right?
Dive behind a couch just so you can pop back up and shoot somebody.
Yeah,
and these were high-powered Nerf guns too.
Yeah,
if you're standing close enough, it kind of hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, because they have like like an air pressurized pump, and especially with the assault rifles, if you don't have one of these, I would recommend you definitely buy that up. Maybe put it on your Christmas list or something, because I don't know if they're going to be manufacturing any more. And it might be a little much. I know they're like in the $40 price range, but when you play this thing, and again, if you're a cosplayer, you're really going to like this. And maybe you want to, because what I intend to do with all these weapons is actually spray paint them down to look more legit like the actual game weapons.
Ooh.
And so that way I could take them to a convention. Maybe if I do end up getting Spartan armor later in the future, I know some people who can make cosplay outfits, so maybe get in touch with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, all that being said, even if you just want it for the fun of a Nerf dart war like we did, the assault rifle is probably the way to go, because you give that thing a few good pumps and then it rapid fires through 10 bullets pretty quickly, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I felt super cool using that because you can fire it in like short bursts.
Right.
Also.
Yeah.
So you're like, I'm a professional. I'm a professional Nerf slinger.
Yep. Oh man, yeah. So I definitely, if you guys haven't already, like I said, recommend picking one of those up. But yeah, so other than that, those are some of the highlights of. I'm not saying that's even all the highlights of my week necessarily, but I don't know. What about you, Luke? Anything else going on? I talked about my Halo convention, my weight loss.
Well, I'll tell you what, our dog got in a fight.
Oh no,
little Jasmine.
Yeah.
So she got in a fight with the neighbor's dog, and we had to like put our dogs inside, send the neighbor's dog back.
Right.
But she got like a nasty gash on her head. So we had to take her to the vet today. It just kept getting more and more swollen.
Ooh.
And so they shaved that little spot and then put some ointment on it, and hopefully it'll heal up soon.
Right.
But they gave us this cone to put around her head. And anybody who's ever dealt with a cone on their dog, you can probably relate to this. But we put the cone on her head, and she's like, I don't know, I think at first she was afraid that she was in a confined space. Like she can't see anything past her head, and she's like, so this entire day, she's just been standing still in the middle of the floor.
Poor thing.
Like not budging at all.
Right.
Every now and then she'll sit down and be completely still. But we're having to encourage her. We're like, Jazz, come here.
Yeah.
You can make it. There's nothing in front of you. We promise. But dogs are not very intelligent, I realized.
Right. Yeah. And if any of you know the Bythorst dog, Jazz, she is a loud dog. And even in some of the episodes of this podcast, you could probably hear her in the background.
Oh, yeah, barking.
she's silent right now. She is just like you said, Luke. She's in that cone of shame, and she's just, I don't know. I wouldn't call it embarrassed, but yeah, she just doesn't know what to do. She's probably a little scared still, just sitting still and doing nothing. Just a whole lot of staring and sitting.
That was it for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I did mention my work and how I just went through the weight loss competition. Another thing we recently did there was we had to go through sexual harassment training,
Right.
and so that it was kind of nice because I talked about it on the last episode where I had to work overtime this past weekend, and I'll be honest, I wasn't too excited to do it. I mean, who is to go and work on a weekend kind of thing? Just especially if you have a regular 9 to 5 kind of thing.
You don't want to go to work on a weekend to learn about sexual harassment?
Well, that was the thing. Is originally I was going to work just to work overtime, so just a regular 8-hour shift.
Oh,
but
right.
the sad thing with that is, even though I go into work regularly from 7 to 3:30, when you work weekends, you have to go in at the first shift people, which is at 5:15 in the morning. So yeah, I got 4 hours of sleep that day and had to then drive myself to work since I wasn't commuting with Sarah. So that was a bit of a challenge, but thankfully I got some coffee to somewhat perk me up.
Yeah.
But and I can actually tell another story tying into before I even got coffee or gas in the morning. But while I'm sticking with just the sexual harassment stuff, so I get to work, and what's kind of nice about it is since I did have to go into work for 2 hours, we then did the sexual harassment seminar or the slideshows, webinar, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Watching videos, going through the whole routine of, is this okay to do? Is this not okay? Is this okay? And it was kind of nice that since I was so tired and just worn out from the week and everything, to just sit down and essentially get paid for 2 hours to just watch some training videos.
Yeah.
But it was 2 hours to watch training videos, so it was a little on the long end. But we had to get through it. Just I guess it was the corporate requirements and stuff. But yeah, they had to go word for word through this whole thing, so that was a little long and drawn out.
Well, look at it this way though. Now, you know how to not sexually harass somebody.
That is true, and I would never do that to anybody at my work,
especially now after you took the class.
Yeah, like let that go on the record. I in no way, shape, or form will ever do anything like that.
Yeah, what would we do without those videos?
Oh man, yeah, we'd be lost, man.
Yeah.
You'd be walking down and end up like a baseball player. You'd pat someone on the behind, and you're like, oh, good job, and then next thing you know, you're getting written up and fired.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, it's not a baseball field, people.
Nope, not at all. But what was kind of funny about it is it got me thinking about when I was working at Target, right? They also, during orientation and everything in the hiring process, they have you go through another sexual harassment training video or just segments and stuff. Like I said, part of the orientation process. And so what I thought was kind of funny, or one story I had in mind for that one, when we're watching the video, that it starts out with say like inappropriate talk. Didn't necessarily. I mean, it probably did cover, obviously no touching, don't be, weird around people kind of thing.
Yeah.
But so the one segment I remember from their sexual harassment training videos was this segment where this guy, he comes into work and he's talking to another coworker who's another man. And he just starts running his mouth like, oh, dude, I totally had sex last night. I did this. I totally got laid. Like, just the whole
They always say totally, don't they?
Yeah, the dude was like just over the top douchery.
I
bet
part of his shirt was untucked too, right?
I think he had the collared shirt on, but the few buttons might have been unbuttoned.
Unbelievable.
But so yeah, he comes in doing his whole scumbag routine. Yeah, man, I totally got laid, and just then the whole thing was to point out like, hey, you can't be telling people this stuff and work. You don't want to, because if people are feeling not necessarily offended, but just awkward and weird about the situation, and if it's making them uncomfortable, that's kind of grounds for getting written up for harassment. And so the guy, seeing how he looked and his mannerisms, how he was acting and everything during the orientation in front of everybody as we're watching this thing, I just point up at the screen and say, I can't buy this video. I don't believe that he got laid, because just the way he's acting, it's just it's not believable. And this is, again, right in the middle of a sexual harassment video.
Oh my goodness.
I don't believe that guy got laid. There's no way.
That guy totally didn't get laid.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was kind of funny because after the words were coming out of my mouth, I thought to myself, I wonder if I could get written up for this.
Yeah.
but nothing happened, thankfully. And
That's
yeah,
good.
It was just a funny side note to that story.
Now you're the funny guy at work.
Yeah, I think I am becoming, and oddly enough, they did cover that in the sexual harassment training for my current job. Just, even if you are the funny guy, make sure you're within boundaries, not mess with anybody. Or at least, again, whatever their boundaries are, respect them. But so, what I was going to cover, okay, so this, oh my gosh, dude, I don't know what is going on lately, and it's frustrating and worrying to me.
Yeah.
Because I am a cop magnet.
Really?
Yes. I don't know what I'm doing.
Is it because you're black?
I might be. I had this
I want to look into that.
Like, dude, I'm just okay.
That was a joke, by the way.
Yes, people, we have a sense of humor here. Look, it's just calm down. All right, we're not. But anyway, so
Dylan is clearly not black.
I'm one of the pastiest white boys you ever did see. My Irish does not let me tan well. But so yeah. Anyway. So I'll end with the piece de no, I don't even know what to call it, like that French phrase, the piece de la resistance, or not resistance. What's do you know what the phrase I'm talking about is?
I don't know any French at all.
Whatever, the cherry on the cake, on the ice cream scoop, whatever. I'll get to this super story later.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there have been several instances where I've talked about people, and I play Pokemon Go before. I've talked about it on this podcast. Several times while playing Pokemon, I have gotten either pulled over or talked to by cops. And so there was several times where I was out where I live, and I was pulled in a parking lot because there's a lot of Pokestops. And if you play the game, you know what this is. To those who don't know, it's a little thing that's in the virtual reality of the game where you pull up to this little thing, and it's, say, like a landmark of sorts. So maybe it's a popular business, like a restaurant or a local church or something else. And so what you do at this Pokestop is you click it, you spin the little thing, you get items, Pokeballs, whatever else. But also around the areas where there are a lot of Pokestops, there's a lot of Pokemon spawns. So they'll pop up around you, and it gives you increased chances to find different rare Pokemon, shinies, whatever else. And so I was in a parking lot near my house, and as I'm sitting there, it is late. It's probably 9:30ish, 10 o'clock. And I'm just sitting in the parking lot, like my car's not on or anything. I'm not doing anything. Next thing I know, a cop pulls up adjacent to me, if that's the right word, where my car was parked, say, vertically. He came in parallel to me and just has his lights on. He gets that little side mirror thing, shines it right in my face through the window, and I just look over. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Guy comes up to the window, approaches me. I roll it down. Obviously, I'm not trying to get myself in trouble here. I roll the window down and everything. And he just comes up and asks me, like, so what are you doing right now? What are you doing out here this late? And I'm just like, I'm just playing a game. Again, the car was parked. I wasn't driving.
Yeah.
Show him my phones, and he's like, oh, like, okay, but you guys haven't seen anything. I saw that we got a notice of a trigger warning in this parking lot, or I guess someone had set off like the security alarm at one of the local businesses in the area. And I was just
that wasn't you.
It was not me. I stayed in my car. I was in the parking lot. I did not go past any fences, gates, anywhere that was quote unquote restricted or beyond business hours kind of thing. I stayed in my car.
That's good. You seemed a little bit suspicious to me for a little bit.
Yeah, apparently to the cop too. And so again, it's somewhat understandable. Late night, you don't know what's going on, so you want to investigate. I get it, I guess, but I was just like, yeah, I'm just playing a game. And so he looked at the phone, like, all right, cool, but you get, and again, he asked us if we had seen anything. I'm like, no, I haven't seen anything. So he drives off. That was one encounter. Next time was also around my house, and I was with Sarah. We're in the car going around and everything, still around my in the areas surrounding my house. And as I'm going down a street, I go to turn into, there's like a little community center by where we live. And so as I'm driving around, I'm about to turn into the parking lot so I can once again visit more Pokestops, pick up items, whatever else. Next thing I know, the lights go on behind me, and I'm like, what is going on? And this is probably a month, few weeks after, whatever. And so I pull into the parking lot because I'm like, okay, the guy's pulling me over. I gotta, make the stop, everything else. So I go in the parking lot, and I think actually Sarah was asleep. And so when I saw the lights go on, I even kind of looked over him like, babe, like, I don't know what's going on. I might be in trouble. And so same thing, park in the parking lot. Guy comes up to my window, light in my face, everything. and just, hey, what are you doing out here? What's going on?
It was the same guy, wasn't it?
It was not.
Oh.
It was two different cops this time, and so he pulls me over, shines a light, starts asking me, going through the whole questions, grilling me and everything. And he same thing. I show him. I'm like, oh, it's this game. It's Pokemon. That's what I'm playing right now. And he's like, oh, that's still going on. Only he didn't say just that. Still, he said something else, another word in there. But so it was kind of funny because he at least seemed a little interested in it. Just going. And I was going through like, yeah, I'm just here visiting this Pokestop. I'm going home. I live right around the corner. And so he's like, okay, all right, have a good night, kind of thing. He leaves me, and that was the end of that encounter. Then next. When I was actually out here playing for a community day event, I was out in a parking lot, where Walmart is. So I was
Right.
walking around Walmart, Del Taco, wherever else, and I'm just going, and as I'm going through, I see this cop pull up next to me. This was in the daytime, mind you, but so as I'm sitting there, I go through, and I'm just like, okay, what's going to happen this time? And so the cop comes up to me, approaches me, and I say, "Hey, how's your day going?" Because I'm just trying to be polite and kind of break the ice. And it was a female cop this time. She's like, "Oh, it's going good." She's like, "You mind if I ask you a few questions?" And I'm just like, "Oh boy, what now?" And so I'm sitting there with my two phones because I have my main account and my alt account, which again is just a backup.
Yeah.
And so the cop comes up to me, starts asking me the same thing. She's like, "Hey, I hate," and she was a little more cordial than the other two encounters I've had, right?
Right.
And so she was at least just, like, "Hey, I've, some of the people in this parking lot have noticed you walking around. They see your phones and they think you're stealing their information." And I stopped and thought to myself, I'm just like, are you like, in my head, I didn't say this to the cop. I'm just like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Because what's jacked up is the fact that I walk around the parking lot with my phones and I get flagged down because I'm alone. Meanwhile, you have everyone else doing the exact same thing because I wasn't the only Pokemon player out there because everyone knows it's a good spot for community days and stuff.
Yeah.
And there are other people out there doing the exact same thing I was. None of them got talked to, but I got singled out. The cop came up to me and same thing. She's okay, so what's going on? And I show her my phones. Once again, I'm just playing a game. It's just Pokemon. And so she sees the cables that are connected to them because my phone battery started dying. And so she just kind of says, okay. And I take it that those cords are for your portable batteries. Sure enough, I pulled those out. I'm like, yep, that's exactly what they are. And so she's like, all right, sorry to bother you. And she leaves. But I'm just like, what the heck? Oh, and then that same day, I even got a little questioning from the actual Walmart security. The guy driving around in his truck, he even came up to me too. I'm just like, I'm just playing a game. Like, I'm just walking around. Like, what's wrong about me getting exercise and playing this thing?
When the cop asked you, she was like, some people think you're trying to steal their information.
Their data.
You should have been like, no, not today. Just
No.
Pokemon.
No,
I saved that for Mondays.
I did actually say something that could have, incriminated me a little bit more. My actual response to her when she had said that, and I said, "Lady, I wish I was that smart." Like, but I didn't call her a lady, I don't think, but I did say, "I wish I was that smart." But it just explained I'm not that smart. Clearly, I'm just playing a game. And again, she was fine with it. But yeah, so it was the security guard first, then the cop. And that was the end of that encounter. Then the creme de la creme of this, right? So
there you go. You found it.
Well, there's another phrase that I was looking for, but
never
maybe one of our listeners will fill me in, write a comment or something. But so yes, this last time around, this is just this last weekend, I get up early, and this is me running off 4 hours of sleep, right?
Right.
So I get up, had my alarm set for 3:20. I'm trying to get out the house as quick as possible. I know that I need to get gas, and so I go up the street next to our house. There's a train track that passes by that intersection, and so sure enough, the intersection was blocked. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to get to the other intersection, and get around the train, like beat it to the next stop. And the speed limit on the road I was on was 55 miles an hour.
Right.
I'm being flat out honest, people. Believe me or not, but I was going probably between 55 and 60 because I just needed to beat the train. I need to get to work on time. But I was not going any ridiculous speed. I would never go 70 in a 55 or anything like that. There was one time, if I'm being completely honest, I did get a ticket once for going, I think, 80 on a freeway when I should have been going 70 or less. Whatever.
I was there for that one.
Yeah, that was a Charger game. That's another story we can get into. But
the Chargers make you do crazy things.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So anyway, I go down this road, and I'm not exceeding a crazy speed limit, because I'm going down. I'm trying to be as quick as possible, but still be, respectful and responsible as I'm driving. And on that road I was on, there's no lamps in the street or whatever, nothing on the sidewalk. And so I turn my high beams on so I can see the road better. And I'm going down this road, I do manage to get around the train track, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm doing good on time. All right, I'm going to stop off at Starbucks. I'm going to get coffee. I'm going to get gas, and I'll be on my way. Literally, as I go to turn into the gas station parking lot, pew, the lights come on, man. And I'm just sitting there at 3:00 in the morning, like, what the heck did I do? Because I was even using my blinker, and there's literally nobody else on the road, at least in this area, at this time of the morning.
Yeah.
It was just me. So it's just, I go to the gas station, and I'm about to go, but like I said, the lights come on, so I park in the parking lot over, and I turn the car off, do the whole routine again, and roll the window down. Cop comes into the window, light in my eyes again, and this time it was actually the same cop from one of the earlier stories where I got pulled over at the community center.
Oh, really?
Yes, same guy, but he didn't realize it just yet. I think because I lost all the weight, he might have taken him a second.
Yeah.
But so, he pulls me over, shines a light in my face, does the whole routine, asks for my license and whatnot. He's like, you're going a little quick there. Are you in a rush anywhere? And I'm telling him, like, yeah, I'm actually on my way to go to work. I'm supposed to go in on, I'm supposed to be there at 5, whatever. And so I give him my license, and he literally asked me the question, is this your car? Did you steal this car? Or no, that's what he was. He asked me, is this your car?
Yeah.
And I said, again, this is my groggy mind not thinking, and it was a probably bad response, and you'll obviously see why. But so he asked me that question, and I say, as far as I know, it is.
Oh my goodness.
Just in the sense of, yeah, I have the title, everything's in my name. Like, I don't know how this would be anyone else's car but mine, kind of thing. And he catches that, and he's like, as far as you know it is, like, what are you talking about? And I just had to, like, shake my head awake, and I'm just like, no, it is mine, I promise. Like, this registered to me, whatever, go through that whole thing. And so he goes back to his car to start checking, again, run the license and everything, whatever else. And so the next thing I know, his partner, I didn't realize, had snuck up on the passenger side window.
Yeah.
And so he starts tapping on the glass, and I roll that side window down. And he starts asking me, is there any weapons? There's any drugs in this car? And I'm just like, what? No, like. And so as I'm sitting there, I'm just like starting to freak out. I'm like, wait, why am I getting all these questions at me at this early in the morning? I'm tired. I'm not thinking straight. I'm just like, no, there's nothing in this car. There's nothing going on. I'm not doing anything shady. But like I'm freaking out because, like I said, I'm tired. It was too early for this.
Yeah.
For anybody to get 4 hours of sleep and then have to wake up and start being questioned and grilled this hard by police officers. Nobody's ready for that. And so I'm saying, like, no, like, and I'm kind of like frazzled, panicked, whatever you want to call it. And the cops are just telling me, no, just calm down, man. Just calm down. And I'm just like, how are you supposed to calm down in this moment?
Right.
I'm the one who could possibly go to jail for some wrong thing I might say, But so he started asking me, and I said, no, I don't have any drugs in this car. The only weapon I have is a little knife with a seatbelt cutter on it, if I get into an accident or something. And I was straightforward with him. I'm like, that's the only thing I have. Showed him my registration, that was all good too. So then the other guy who took my license comes back. He realizes it's I'm the guy he pulled over before playing Pokemon, and so he starts asking me more questions, just saying, like, yeah, cars like this could be stolen, and we noticed that the lights above your license plate were out, and I think that was the original reason why they pulled me over, not for speeding or anything. Yeah. Thank God, because again, by their standard, I don't know, they could have maybe ticketed me, but like I said, I was not going over 60 miles an hour. I ain't crazy like that. But so again, as he's going through the motions of talking to me and everything, like, oh yeah, just explain the light situation, and I'm still frazzled, freaking out, and he's doing the same thing. Just calm down, man, calm down, it's all good. And so, but yeah, it was not a good way to wake up on Saturday morning. No. Like, after all the just exhaustion and everything else through the week, I was just freaking out, and man, it was just, I don't know what it is, dude. I mean, like I said, I know there was the bit of an explanation with maybe the taillight being out, whatever. That's the initial reason why they pulled me over. But just in the sense of, this has probably been the 4th time this year alone that I've been pulled over by the cops. That's,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, like, out of my entire life, like I said, there was the one time I got pulled over going to the Charger game. That was the only other time I've been pulled over by the cops.
Yeah.
That I've been pulled over, to alliterate that better. But anyway, yeah, I'm just like, what is going on? What about me says, I need to go check that dude out. And I don't know, man. I'm just a white guy with a beard, and apparently that draws enough attention to get you harassed by the police every single time I'm out and about. I'm just like, what did I do?
I don't know. It sounds like you need a vacation.
I need something, man, and hopefully we're supposed to actually have an inventory day at our warehouse, so it'll be shut down, and I'll be able to have another 3-day weekend like I did for Labor Day. But praying that goes through, and I can just relax and not have to worry about it. Because I drive safe. I'm not a crazy driver on the freeway. I don't race people or anything like that. I'm calm, cool, and collective. I always drive defensively, but man, I cannot avoid police officers for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But anyway,
yeah.
that all being said,
yeah, you need a day off so you can go like out and about or something, go camping or something.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, you know what? But speaking of camping, let's lighten the mood a little bit, Luke, because even just talking about these stories gets me anxious and nervous and riled up.
Yeah, let's talk about vacation or something like that. Like, the craziest things can happen on vacation. Some of the best stories come from vacations.
Mm-hmm.
I have a wonderful little brother named Peter. And he has provided some great stories during our camping trips.
Oh, yeah?
One in particular, one of my favorites. We used to go camping with our entire church. It would be like an all-church camp.
Oh, yeah.
We just go to a campsite and like get a bunch of sites. It's like one big neighborhood,
Right.
It was great. So we would go up there, and this is when we were pretty young. So we're riding our bikes, and I think actually all of us were still on tricycles at this point. But we're riding our tricycles, and we'd always be trying to figure out better ways to ride, things that would be more fun.
Okay.
To find a bigger hill or find a better way to do it. Peter had the crazy idea to go riding with his eyes closed.
Oh my gosh, what?
So he starts going down the hill, eyes closed, and there was this like pit that was just off the road where you go down, there's like a bunch of rocks at the bottom.
Oh.
So he like is going with his eyes closed and turns into this pit, goes all the way down into the rocks.
Oh.
And we just hear so we come running out. Our dad is with us. We're like, Peter, what happened? He's like, I was riding with my eyes closed.
What the heck?
We're like, why? So we brought him back in, got him all bandaged up. That same week, we hear another. We look down in the same pit. It's Peter again.
Again?
Freaking
again?
We're like, what happened, Peter? And again, I was riding with my eyes closed again, and I don't know why.
What?
So we have no idea what the heck is wrong with Peter.
I don't know
He's
either.
either really brave or really stupid.
Well, he does have a tendency to forget things, so he probably completely forgot that first time around. Once his wounds healed, his scabs went away, and he's just like, oh, you know what? Maybe we should try this again.
Yeah, so I don't know. That was weird. There's this other time. He did another stupid thing.
Oh, no.
Do you remember the Jimmy Neutron movie?
Jimmy Neutron. Yeah, I know Jimmy.
Yeah, remember when Carl is doing show and tell with his inhaler?
Carl.
Yeah. He's like, this is my inhaler. One touch of a button, and he presses it and it sprays him in the eye.
Yeah.
He's like, ah! Well, Peter decided it would be fun to reenact that scene. So he grabbed some bug spray.
Oh, no.
But he had it pointed backwards with the cap off. So he's doing it as a joke. One touch of a button, and he presses it and sprays himself in the eyes with bug spray.
Oh, my gosh.
It was exactly like the Jimmy Neutron scene.
Oh.
And we couldn't help but laugh, but Peter was like dying.
I can imagine because, okay, this isn't a camping, I don't even want to say this for a special event. I'm going to hold on to this story.
You
but
hear
I
that,
have,
guys? A commercial for a future podcast.
yes, so tune in like maybe 100, not 100 episodes.
100 episodes?
I said not 100 episodes. It won't be that long,
Oh my
but
goodness.
it'll be for a specific holiday I want to save this story for. But I have a similar experience, and it's not my fault I got injured. I didn't do anything as weird as Peter did with all these other times riding into a rock pit and spraying himself in the eyes. But I can understand the pain he might have felt from just getting chemicals in your eyes that weren't supposed to be there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's got to burn.
Oh, my goodness. What about you? Do you have any vacation stories?
I don't know. Well, okay, so I think I did mention to you before this podcast started, there was one time where, if we're talking in the sense of injuries, there was one time where me and my family, kind of similar situation. We were at a family camp. I believe it was for our church as well. And we're making s'mores, as you do. It's a staple of a camp out. We're going through and everything, and I don't know if it was my sister herself or one of my other family members, but somebody, as they're roasting their marshmallows and they're dangling it over the hot fire, they go to pull it away, and they don't realize that the marshmallow is so hot that it's actually dripping like the sugar and the whatever
Yeah.
molasses, whatever you want to call it. And sure enough, they drip it right over my sister's arm. And she actually has a scar from that. Like it just fell.
It was an
burnt.
entire marshmallow that fell off.
Not an entire marshmallow,
Oh.
but just again a good enough glob to
Yeah.
where it left a mark on one of her arms, and
Ooh.
it's still there. It was bad. So
Sheesh.
she was in pain. I mean, it thankfully wasn't anything obviously life threatening, but still just just getting a burn like that from it's like at least if you get like candle wax on you, stings for a second, but it's doesn't leave a scar, doesn't burn. But man, just a molten marshmallow was basically what scalded her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I've been hurt on vacation too. There was one time in particular. We went to Joshua Tree National Park. It's a
Hey.
great place if you like to go bouldering. That's like the place
Yeah.
to go. Even rock climbing, but I'm not that extreme. So anyway, we were young, and I go on this rock climb with my dad and
Okay.
Peter again.
Peter.
Yeah. Well, he didn't do anything stupid this time, so it's
Oh,
okay.
that's good.
But anyway, we're bouldering, and we reach a point as we're bouldering,
Right.
where we think, okay, not entirely sure what our next step is. It was a tough, tricky spot to get out of, so we're looking around trying to figure it out. And then we notice a bee starting to buzz around our dad's face, and he's
Okay.
trying to swat it away. So he's talking to us, trying to explain to us what our next move is going to be.
Right, right.
And then there's a bee next to Peter and next to me.
Oh my
and next
gosh.
thing you know, it stings Peter, and he starts screaming, and our dad is getting stung. Next thing you know, I'm getting stung, and we're starting to panic. We realize we must have brushed a beehive on the way
Oh
up.
no.
So we're getting attacked by these bees, and we're in the worst spot. We're stuck.
Right,
So
on
we're
rocks.
just like, yeah. So Peter and I are just saying, we're gonna die. We're gonna die. And Dad is like, snap out of it. We gotta get out of here. Look, boys, just come this way. So he's trying to keep us calm. He's trying to keep us moving. So luckily we managed to get out of there, and of course this became the fastest climb we've ever done at this point.
Yeah, I can
we
imagine.
finally get past all those boulders. Once we reach the ground, it's like, hallelujah.
Well, that seems like kind of a fun, painful way to find out you're not allergic to bee stings.
Yes, yeah, we are not allergic to bee stings.
Thankfully, because otherwise you wouldn't be here today making this podcast with me,
That's true.
and that'd be sad.
I could have died. You realize that?
Yeah. I mean, shoot. I mean, I don't know how many stings it takes to kill a person, but I mean, even still, like, even if you're not allergic, I mean, that's still just painful.
Yeah, so Peter and I, we each probably took between 15 and 20 stings.
Oh my gosh.
And then our dad, he probably got between 30 and 50. Who knows?
Really?
Yeah, because he was bigger. He was wearing a bright shirt, so I think they thought he was a giant flower.
Oh. Well.
And then he was also probably swatting the ones that were around us as well. So
Gosh, man.
I know.
Those bees are sweating him more than the cops sweat me.
We were swole the next day. we were twice our size.
Yeah,
So-
at least you weren't like those guys who try to, or well, not try, but the people who do like inject. I think it's like synthol or whatever, some kind of weird chemical.
Synthol.
It's some weird chemical that people will put into their muscles. That's not really them building the muscle themselves, like lifting heavier weights is gradually improving. They put this thing. They just stick needles in their arms and they look disgusting.
That's
like,
so lame.
Yeah, it's terrible. I do have one other camp story, but more on the lighthearted note, right?
Yeah.
And so, speaking of dads, there's one time, it might have even been the same camp out that my sister got, scarred. But we're at the camp out, and one of the things on the agenda for kind of just a collective thing is like the church or whatever. We were all going to go out to a certain spot, just kind of out in the wilderness, not anywhere that would be like animal attack stuff like that, but just we hike this trail and we just go out to see the stars, right? And so we're all on these different rocks. There's this little area. It was really nice, good view of the sky and everything. You could just see crystal clear up there because you run around the city. And then so my dad, around the group that we were hanging out with, my family included, obviously, he says out loud to everyone, he's like, "Hey, you guys know what a coyote sounds like?" And so I don't know if it's some of the kids or some of the parents like were kind of, oh yeah, what? I mean, not that they probably haven't heard the sound, but yeah. So my dad, he's just like, I can make a really good coyote call.
Yeah.
And so he does the whole.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, so he makes the
Must
call.
be genetic.
Yeah, I've often said I might be a werewolf. If I was ever to become a mythical creature, werewolf would probably be up there.
I think it's werewolf.
Werewolf. But yeah, so he makes the call and so he's like, but I can actually do another noise. You ever hear a coyote with a broken leg and what that sounds like? And so everyone's like, since my dad did so good, they're like, oh no, what does that sound like? What's the difference in the sound? And so once again he goes, "Arrrr!" oh, my leg. And just everybody starts dying because it was just one of those cheesy dad jokes that you should have seen coming and didn't. And oh man, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's great. You establish credibility and then you just destroy it. Those
Yeah,
are the best jokes.
Yeah, because everyone's thinking that like they're gonna hear something like a whimpering noise. Like, nope, just oh, my leg.
It was like a few episodes back when John told us that story.
Oh,
about picking up the random hitchhiker.
The hitchhiker with the bag.
It's
Yeah,
like we were getting into it, believing it. He's establishing credibility at the end. It's just a joke.
just a joke. Oh,
Just a joke.
He got us too good with that one, man. We got to do something to get him back.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure out something for the next episode.
We'll shave his beard.
Hey, if you guys want to do that, once we reach 100,000 subscribers, we're going to shave John's beard.
I think he'd be down for that.
Yeah.
If we got that popular, heck, I'll maybe not a whole body, but I'll shave my legs. Maybe that.
That's it? Just your legs?
Look, you see my legs? They're pretty hairy.
That's nothing.
Okay, well, fine. We'll just shave John's beard then.
Yeah. So 100,000 subscribers. Whether it's, we'll go total. We'll go across Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, all of those.
So that means people could even triple up then. You just have to do, all you have to do is subscribe to each one, and that's 3 votes right there, or 3 subscribes.
True.
Yeah.
That's true. Hey, by the way, we got a positive review on Apple Podcasts.
No joke?
Yeah, we got a 5-star review.
Dude, we should get that. We need to, do we have the person's name by chance?
Yes.
Well, we do.
Yeah.
Who was it?
It was Hannah.
Hannah. Ooh.
Yeah. Hannah, if you're listening, thank you.
Woohoo.
We appreciate it.
MVP.
And we're going to try to get more 5-star reviews.
All right, and that'd be just like that. We're off the topic, but no.
Shameless plug, right?
Yeah, but hey, no, we do appreciate that because hey, every little bit helps. We got to start somewhere, so thank you guys for helping us put in the footwork. So
We would be nothing without you.
I just like to thank the Academy for
We don't have any tissues in here. We better stop crying.
Yeah, that's true. And plus, I mean, although it would help me, I could lose some water weight if I.
You'll gain it back once you get a drink.
Shh! Don't let them know that. All right. So, all that being said, I think we've had a pretty decent chunk of random stories this week, but you know what? I think it's time for us to transition to the entertainment portion of the podcast. Beautiful.
Thank you.
You sang that so well. You sang that almost like an operatic singer.
Yeah.
And speaking of operatic singers and just amazing vocal talent, folks, I have booked my seats to go see the Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Hey!
And as a courtesy to my lovely co-host Luke, I have indeed bought his ticket.
From the bottom of my heart, Dylan, thank you.
You are welcome. And I at first I was a little worried because I was checking some of the ticket prices and it jumped up from last year. It was I think I've told you guys before, it was around $45 or so. And then when I was checking some of these other sites, they were selling them for $90, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, why would such a drastic increase? But thankfully, when I actually went through the Ticketmaster verified pre-sale, like club member and stuff, it did drop back down to $45-ish. They do have convenience fees, whatever. That always sucks. But hey, you know what? We got our seats. We got the section I wanted. I'm excited, man. Again, it's gonna be on your sister's birthday. I'm ready. I'm looking forward to it. These next 2 months are probably going to fly by, and then, or I guess 3 technically, because it'll be at the end of November. But
right,
yeah, I'm super stoked, dude, and I hope you are too.
I am too. Yeah. So for those of you who are listening, I podcasted myself into these tickets. Well, I mean, Dylan bought them, but like, if you want free tickets to stuff like this,
no,
just like join a podcast with a friend. And they'll buy you stuff.
Okay, I thought you were going to go another direction with that. I'm like, I ain't that rich. No. I can't afford everyone's ticket.
So yeah, just start a podcast with somebody else, and they'll buy you stuff. So thanks, Dylan.
Yeah, you're welcome. I don't know how much it would cost. I've always wanted to look into maybe doing a VIP meet and greet with some of the artists and stuff, because I don't know them personally. I don't even know their names, and that's a shame on my part. And
isn't one of them John?
Of the actual orchestra people, or
yeah, I
don't know. But dude, they're so cool, man. It's like they're the type of people who they're cool, and it's I don't know. It's like not that they don't know it, but they're so cool that they're just so cool. It's just these rockers have this long hair. They kill it on the electric guitar. Like I said, that chick always kills it on the violin. She just is amazing, and I love her.
They're so cool that like you walk up and you see them in person, and you're like,
Yeah, they're
Dead silent.
They're what like that classical feel is, or not classical feel. If that's not the right word, but like you think of like like a high school movie from like the 80s or the 90s, and you see like that group of cool kids.
Yeah.
They are that group of cool kids. They have that feel about them. I don't know if swag is the right word to use for this type of description.
Swazzy.
There we go. They're super swazzy. They're the kind, and they're just awesome people in general. I didn't say this before, but what's nice is every year that they do this, I'm pretty sure they donate a huge chunk of money to a children's foundation out here in the Inland Empire, and I'm guessing they do that across the nation too, because they do tours all over California, Texas, just all over the states. And they, like I said, they'll take this money in, and it's all they love supporting the troops. They love supporting again the children foundations and stuff like that to help if it's like children's hospital stuff.
Yeah.
And so they're so cool, man. Again, I can't say it enough. Just awesome people. Like I said, I've never had the chance to one-on-one meet them, but depending on how much the price is, maybe we get backstage, maybe they plug us, they talk about our podcast. I'm just saying, we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
But,
we'll do a podcast with them.
dude, could you imagine? I mean, because they do.
I'm more than imagine. It's going to happen.
They do have, again, a Trans-Siberian Orchestra chapter that lives out here. They have people from like Hollywood and around the local areas out here, so that way they don't have to have just one band constantly doing all these tour dates, because there will be nights where they're in several locations at once. So obviously it makes sense.
There's like a lot of musicians out in the LA area.
Yeah, and every single one of them at this show, they melt your face off. They rock the house. It's amazing, guys.
So stay tuned. On November 37th, we're going to do a podcast with the Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
That's high hopes. I hope it happens.
It's going to happen.
We'll see what happens.
November 37th. Tune in.
Yeah, and they do actually encourage recording during their shows, so you might even be able to live stream on the podcast. Maybe not the whole thing, but at least a couple songs. So, be on the lookout for that too.
Live stream on the podcast?
Well, no, not the podcast.
We're not going to fit all this equipment in there?
No, on your Instagram. That's what I meant. Like, do a quick video, like part of your story or something.
Yeah, maybe if I'm feeling generous to the followers.
Yeah, if he's feeling generous enough, he'll do a quick 2-minute video. But if he's not, then we'll do the backstage behind the scenes with all the other artists and stuff to talk to them. But yeah, so that, again, looking forward to that. If you don't have your tickets, book them now, because that show will sell out, and I would recommend Section 210, and I said it was the Citizens Business Bank Arena, and technically it still is, but apparently got bought out, and now it's called the Toyota Arena or something.
Wow.
So just in case you get confused and you're trying to look for tickets and somehow can't find them, you should just Google TSO.
So not the Honda Center, it's the Toyota.
It's the Toyota
Arena.
Center. It's in
Toyota Center.
Ontario, California. If you want to meet us at the show, we're going to the 7:30 show, because I always like just an awesome evening show.
Be there or be square. Am I right?
Yeah, but we won't be square. We'll be circles.
Well, we're going to be there.
Because we're going to be rolling and rocking.
I'm
rocking and rolling.
I was going to say, I'm more of a football. I just kind of waddle my way through life.
Where are the laces?
I try to keep those hidden for personal reasons.
That makes sense. All right. But, okay, so let's see. As far as movie reviews this week, I didn't see... Well, I take that back. I did see something in the theaters, but I'll be honest, I saw it after I worked overtime and was just dead tired that day.
You fell asleep, didn't you?
I think I fell asleep during part of it, so I don't want to say what the movie was or even try to review it, because I would like to do it justice before saying just it sucked because I fell asleep.
Wasn't it like Spy Kids 5 or something?
Totally, yeah. It was in like 6D or something, all the visuals and stuff. But yeah, it was pretty intense. No, but no, that was not what I saw. But what I did do is one night, me and Sarah, we ended up. It was actually the night I won the contest. So it was last Wednesday on September 4th, I believe it was. We Redboxed a couple movies, and so we Redboxed Long Shot and what was the other one? Brightburn.
Isn't Long Shot the football one or baseball one?
No, that you're thinking of Longest Yard.
Oh yeah.
Long Shot is a recent release movie that was Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron, I believe, where she's running for president and she hires him to be her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she hires him to be her journalist. Content warnings right out the gate. There are words. There are some inappropriate, suggestive, crude humor remarks and stuff that's whatever they're going on. So yeah, definitely not for kids. Do not take your kids to see movies like this. I don't even get why. There will be times where I go to see, say, a movie like John Wick, where it's just violent or whatever, and people take their kids to go see these movies. I'm like, like, I don't know if that's your decision as a parent. I'm not trying to. Well, no, I am trying to tell you, don't take your kids to see movies, man. It's like, because people, it's one thing, say if they're 13 or so and just need to be accompanied by an adult.
Yeah.
But my goodness, it's like, why am I seeing under 10-year-olds in these movies? Not that we saw Long Shot in theaters, but it's just, I don't get it. When I see that at the theaters, it kind of drives me nuts. But so anyway, that was all going on. So we watched Long Shot, funny movie, pretty good. And, it is, they do kind of deal a little bit with politics, obviously with her running for president and everything. But what's kind of nice, because in one of the scenes, they do kind of have like a breakdown of where they're trying to kind of get people out of just just judging people because of either what party they're associated with or how they feel about a certain electoral candidate, just stuff like that. And where it's like right. they weren't actually just like bashing Democrats or just bashing Republicans. They weren't doing anything like that. They were just sitting there and they try to have like a fair and balanced scene where like even one of the characters was kind of getting enlightened at that moment to just be like, hey dude, stop, you don't need to judge so harshly.
Right.
So it was kind of nice to see that. I'm glad they touched on it, because I've told you guys I didn't want to make this a politic podcast when we first got started, and I still don't, mind you.
Right.
But again, because it's just one of those hot button issues that really divides people apart. But again, we want to be open. We want to just talk to people, and I'm glad to see a movie kind of encouraging that route of thinking, as opposed to just being like, if you're on that side, you're just a complete idiot. Like,
first and foremost, we're Americans.
Yes, we all need to unite under that banner alone. But so yeah, that was a pretty good comedy. If you're fine with certain jokes, certain remarks, whatever, check it out. We Redbox it, whatever. But if you're underage, do not see that film. You are not allowed to. That's my stamp of disapproval. Do not see that movie if you're a child.
I wish we had the stamp sound effect.
I know, right? We should get that at some point. We'll just do. But anyway, and then the other movie, like I said, was Brightburn, and that is the one where it's basically turns the whole Superman folklore on its head, to where same premise, kid falls from space, farmer parents raise him up, but instead of him going good and being raised in the American way, he becomes evil because that's just what he was supposed to do, and kind of conquer the world.
Sounds like Chappie.
And what's we talked about it, I think, the last couple episodes, or at least one of the last episodes that we recorded this podcast, Luke. Movies that are under an hour and a half long.
This was one of them?
This was one of those movies. So, and see, I know you were knocking the Shark movie, but this one was actually pretty big name. Not that they were both out in theaters, but this one drew a lot of attention from people. So, all that being said, it was definitely a unique concept. I mean, I know it wasn't super original because, like I said, all I did was flip Superman and make him evil. But no, it was creepy. It was crazy. And it was definitely weird. And again, I just said not original, but yeah. So overall, I think it was still a unique concept, something worth checking out if you're into that kind of thing. Superhero gone bad. But yeah, it was definitely good. I liked. There were certain scenes, I guess I could say this, where even in like horror movies where certain things are happening and people are just in denial about it, and you just kind of wonder, okay, how are you that oblivious? Certain things like that where you can kind of complain and nitpick, and that's what I'm doing right now. But like I said, overall, I'd probably still give Brightburn, say, I don't know, B-. Like I said, if it had been a little longer, maybe had a little more scenes, not necessarily action, because again, that's not what they were going for with a horror superhero.
Right.
But there was some room for improvement on that one. And then Long Shot, I'd probably give just a solid B. Again, it's a comedy movie. So I mean, it wasn't really like super crazy. It wasn't super bad. It was decent. It was good.
It was good. Yeah. That sounds nice.
Yeah. All that being said, though, is there anything else that you would have to add in for the entertainment portion? Or?
Well, I was gonna say it reminds me of Chappie.
Okay. Yeah, you did mention that. So.
And Chappie is not a superhero, but it's kind of the idea, because Chappie is a robot.
Yeah.
And he's the first robot with artificial intelligence.
Right.
And a similar kind of thing. He's like built for greatness, but falls into the wrong hands.
Bum bum bum.
And kind of becomes like a thug. So it's an interesting one to watch. But yeah, I don't know. It reminded me of that very much.
Okay. Yeah, Chappie. Who else was in that one as far as like actors?
Hugh Jackman.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman was in that one. Yeah, I don't think I know I was interested in seeing that movie. I just never got around to it. So it's
It's on Netflix. Well,
Alright.
at least it was. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know because usually they would. I don't, maybe I just got to check my recommended or something. Maybe I missed it. But yeah, so speaking of things on Netflix, I'm kind of interested. I don't know about if it's piquing your interest. I'm kind of interested to check out The Dark Crystal.
I'm not.
Not at all.
I'm
okay.
not a fan of puppets.
Oh, well, see, that's the thing is I saw the actual Dark Crystal movie when I was a kid, and
Yeah.
that's probably thanks to my awesome older siblings because since they grew up in the 80s, that was stuff
Yeah.
they were familiar with. But yeah, no, I liked the movie and I enjoyed it, so I'm hearing good things, so maybe it could just be something where you do need to be somewhat of a fan. But hopefully they're still reaching audiences because I do have high hopes for that show. Since Netflix is already canceling, all the Defenders and all that stuff, maybe
Yeah.
those will come back at some point. But
Well, like, I don't like puppets. I like the Muppets, but that's about it.
I mean, it's still Jim Henson.
I know, but they're not the Muppets. Like
They're not
supposed,
the Jim Henson.
they're supposed to actually look cool.
Well, you don't like the smooth faces with like no noses?
No,
You don't,
they
you
don't freak me out or anything. It's just I don't want to watch it. I don't know.
You don't want them coming into your room at night. That's what. Just have them standing over your bed.
I'm not afraid of puppets, unless it's sock puppets.
Dun dun dun.
Sock puppets you'll have nightmares about.
Okay. You know what? So last thing to close out the entertainment portion of this podcast. Just not saying that you have to do it right now, but we were called out, Luke. We were called out and challenged by a certain person who will remain nameless. Your dad, who did mention that I guess the last episode we did not have a catchphrase.
We did not have a phrase
Yeah.
of the week.
That was that one caught me off guard because I know, like, I'm not saying that it's all on you because it's your thing, but it's just
Yeah.
like I honestly thought that we had to have put something in there. Just we had been on a pretty good roll, but our apologies, folks. We missed out on giving people some peanut M&Ms.
Yeah, we left it out completely.
Yeah, so like I said, not saying you have to come up with it right this second.
Yeah.
We talked about a lot, so if you wanted to go back to the randoms, campfire stories, you want to do something entertainment, and we're about to head into sports.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
So yeah, wherever you feel that your heart is leading you, just follow it. It'll never lead you wrong.
Yeah, well,
That's unbiblical, by the way, just letting you know.
yeah, so let's move on to sports.
Pew!
I don't know.
That's a transition for us.
I was gonna throw it in there. I was like, not yet.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep you waiting.
Yep. All right. So here we go.
Into the sports section. What do we have for sports today, Dylan?
Oh, we got a lot to talk about, Luke.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say before we do that, I want to give some credit first. We talked about how stupid Peter is. That was him on drums though, so he's
Yes.
not that stupid.
No, he's
so
a
credit
very
to Peter. Thanks for the help with that sports intro.
very talented drummist.
He's a talented drummist. When he's not playing on his chest and belly, he sounds pretty good on a drum set.
Yeah, and that's called ham boning. To those of you who are
Ham boning.
ham boning when you start slapping your body to make noise.
I had no idea.
Check out regular show; they talk about
Really?
ham boning.
That's the phrase of the week.
Ham boning.
Just ham boning.
Oh gosh! And now I created it. Great.
Yeah.
You pulled me into your world.
Good for you, Dylan. So find us, ham boning. We will give you one peanut butter
Peanut butter
M&M.
this week.
We're gonna
Okay.
switch it. We're in debt actually. We something paid up on some of the previous peanut M&Ms.
man.
But we'll get you guys. We promise.
I gotta figure out some kind of financially viable option for this stuff, but we'll figure
Well,
it
we
out.
just need to buy a jumbo bag. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's easy.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still chocolate. Chocolate's like one of the more expensive candies.
Is it really?
Yeah, when you ever go shopping and stuff,
Because
just
it's great.
yeah, it's not bad. So, anyway, getting back to sports, folks.
I'll play the theme song. No.
Gosh, man. So anyway, big news.
Big news.
Big news. On twofold, man.
Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott ended up signing with the Cowboys.
The day after we did the last podcast.
Oh my gosh.
So it sounds late now, but like it's not our fault.
You know what? And yeah, I will agree with you on that, Luke. And not to just justify myself, but we were not the only ones. There were other commentators, NFL analysts, all kinds of people who were saying the exact same things. And I've even talked to Cowboy fans who were upset that Zeke, with 2 years on his contract, the same thing I said, that he was still fighting to get paid, and they're mad that he took so much money.
Yeah.
All that being said, though, Jerry Jones did cave and gave him a $90 million contract over the span of, I think, 5 years, making him the highest paid running back in NFL history.
Yeah.
So congrats, Zeke, and whatever. I'm not knocking him as a running back, but that's a freaking lot of money. I hope that doesn't jeopardize the Cowboys down the future and like later on in seasons, because where are they going to pay all their other players now if half the bank or more than half the bank's going to Zeke?
I don't know. I don't know if they should have done that.
No, it's a lot of friggin' money, man.
We've talked about it before. Running backs are just not that big of a deal.
And it was proved with the Chargers.
I was going to say that, yeah. Melvin Gordon still has not signed with us, and we are more and more starting to turn against him, I think.
Yeah.
Just because he's asking for so much, and we're like, I don't think we need it. Honestly, he's just a running back.
Justin Jackson and Eckler did their jobs. Austin Eckler, and Eckler had the game-winning touchdown, which, granted, I wasn't too happy about our defense in that performance against the Colts.
Right.
And I'm not saying the Colts have a bad offense by any means, but our defense definitely needs to tighten up. So, guys, get it together. Come on. We should be a top 10 defense this season.
Let's be realistic about our offensive situation. We're not a running team. We have a healthy balance of running plays in there, but at the end of the day, Phillip Rivers is the one who's going to get us wins.
Right.
If I'm offensively.
He's got to be more alert with that pass in the end zone.
If he has a bad game, we lose. If he has a good game, most of the time we'll win, either win or be close to winning.
Yeah,
we've had some games where he's like over 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, and we still lose because the rest of the team caved. But he keeps us in there.
Yeah, always. And so so those are some of the one of the big highlights again was Zeke getting that. And I was almost a little worried and hesitant to bring it up. But because after he signed that $90 million contract, he played Sunday, obviously, against the Giants, so divisional rival and everything.
How'd he do?
It wasn't the worst, but, I mean, let's be honest here. For a guy who just got paid bank, he got everything, he cleaned house. He only had, I think, 63 yards total and 1 touchdown.
Yeah. He did have a touchdown.
He did end up getting a touchdown. However, I think the person who actually stole the show was Dak Prescott.
Yes.
I mean, I get that, he's playing the Giants and they weren't necessarily a good team or, where they were, I think, they got easily a top 5 draft pick, right? And last time, before the season started. And so granted, they're still, rebuilding or whatever else they're going through right now. But with Dak Prescott, man, he tore it up. I don't think he had any interceptions, and he threw, I think, 4 touchdowns, if not more.
340 yards.
300, over 300 yards. That is insane.
He gets out there with those like high white socks. I think that looks pretty slick, by the way, just saying. But yeah, he looked good. And if there's any reason to pay Ezekiel Elliott as much as you do, it's because he makes Dak Prescott better.
Yeah, and
that is pretty well documented. Every time Ezekiel Elliott is in the game, Dak Prescott plays better. So I think we got a little bit of a glimpse of that.
Yeah, and what I thought was kind of weird is they just dropped all this money on Zeke and they haven't extended or talked to Dak about his contract yet. And what's crazy is he easily, I know it's comparative wise, it's a lot easier for a quarterback to have more yards and whatever else during a game than a running back, but even still, I think if anything, this game just proved that they didn't need to sign Zeke to so much money.
Quite possibly.
The dude had so many receivers and so many great receivers at that. I think.
Oh my goodness! I didn't even realize that they signed Randall Cobb in the offseason. So
and they got Witten back.
Amari Cooper, Jason Witten, Randall Cobb. Like, come on.
Everybody. Dak Prescott was handing out touchdowns like Oprah hands out cars in her audience. Like that's how crazy he was this game. And kudos to you, Cowboys. It looks like you're gonna have a pretty good season. Like I said, if you're able to, and that's what a good team needs. If you're able to decimate a bad team, then you should easily be able to get a win against a good team. You know what I mean?
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully the math all works out. I know, and even in regular seasons, week 1 is always crazy, whether it's a high-scoring game or just, whatever, back and forth. But, again, it looks like there's a lot of promising things coming out of the Cowboys, defensively and offensively.
Yeah, the Browns, on the other hand.
Oh, my gosh.
We have been doing a lot of talking about the Browns.
We had faith.
We've been excited for Baker Mayfield. We've been excited for Nick Chubb. We've been excited for Odell Beckham.
We were.
And what the heck happened? Getting schooled by the Titans in their own stadium, right?
In the Brown Stadium at Cleveland.
My goodness.
God, where do you start, man? Like you said, we were so on the hype train. We were hoping for the best. And I know that the Browns, they're never that super great. But after last season, them ending, this is before they got all the talent that they signed in this offseason, right?
Yeah.
They should have done good. And granted, I still would have accepted a loss from the Titans. They were a playoff contending team last season, so I'm not taking anything away from them. But for the Browns to be at home and lose that badly, 13-30 or 33, whatever the heck it was?
It might have been closer to 40.
No, 13-43.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's embarrassing. And even the fans, they sadly started booing their home team just after the slaughter.
This is coming from a fan base who proudly supported an 0-16 Browns team.
Yeah.
You ruined their hopes if they start booing you at that point.
Yeah, kicking off the season with such a bad loss at home, that's decimating to a fan base, and just there are no bandwagon fans in Cleveland.
Yeah.
So like Luke just said, you have upset your own fan base to a degree where you need to start getting wins to get them back on even somewhat of a hype train, or give them something to hope for. Because my gosh, man, that's just embarrassing.
They're loaded with talent, and you know what? Odell Beckham had a solid game. He was at like 70 yards. Nick Chubb, I think, also had a solid game.
Mm-hmm.
Baker Mayfield threw 3 interceptions.
Yeah, that's big. What the heck, man?
You got to trade those interceptions for touchdowns.
You really do. And like I said, I even talked him up so much after seeing some preseason games. And like I said, granted, he was playing against, test out defenses or whatever, because people are trying to figure out who they want to sign, who they want to...
Not on the first drive.
Well, yeah, but...
The first drive is mostly starters.
Sometimes, because I can't recall specifics for the game. He might have been playing a backup. He might have been playing the starters. But even still, just for him to have those precise, like, bullet passes to... Again, he was, at that time, even playing with the second-string receivers. He wasn't even playing with Odell or anyone else like that, and he was getting the job done. What happened to that Baker Mayfield? He just disappeared.
We're going to have to chalk this one up to an off week.
Yeah, hopefully...
I still believe they've got the talent there. Let's go ahead and join with the rest of Believe Land. Mm-hmm. And let's believe that this was just an off week. Next week we're going to see him bounce right back.
Yeah, so we'll hope in for a few more weeks, guys. We want to see some turnaround here, because that was just...
And how about the other side of the ball with the Titans? Derrick Henry.
Oh yeah,
looked quite good.
Mm-hmm.
And he's had some really good games and some really bad games.
Right.
I would not be surprised though if this kind of continued, this trend. If Derrick Henry became a top 10 running back solidly,
Right. If he can stay consistent, because I know even with last season when you guys are playing fantasy, he had a couple good not even good. He had a couple great weeks.
It was like 40 points, then 30 points, and then nothing else after that.
Yeah, because I even had him, I think, a couple seasons back where I was using him as a backup, and he wasn't that productive. So it's just he gets lucky on some of these games, and so I do want to see more consistency as far as yards, touchdowns, whatever else. And granted, that is up to the play calling of the offense, but even still, for him to be so big and everything else, he should be up there. Maybe not top 5, but at least top 10, like you said. He should be getting some pretty solid production numbers. And hopefully later on down the stretch too, when the Titans are going to need him. Say if it comes playoff time, if they end up having a wild card spot, because I know the South is going to be still a tough division, even with Andrew Luck being gone, because he gave Jacoby Brissett gave the Chargers a run for their money this last time around. And I know, like I said, our defense needs to tighten up. But with you have Jacoby Brissett still doing good on offense. The Colts defense is solid. The Jags, I just remembered. Nick Foles, man.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, that's a sad...
Focus on the run game and help out Leonard Fournette.
Oh my gosh, man! You guys got to do something. I know they picked up the backup quarterback from the Steelers. They signed him to be quarterback for the Jags. I don't know
the Steelers had a backup quarterback.
I don't know who it is. I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head. But yeah, they picked him up recently. Not sure.
They should just sign Bortles again.
Dude, they got to do something, man. Because. And it's just it's so crazy to think that Bortles, he came off of that season where he took the Jags all the way to the AFC Championship game. Didn't get past the Patriots, but the very next season where the dude is putting up solid enough numbers. He was, I wouldn't say the best quarterback by any means, but he was a great quarterback that season where he led them to the championship. And then just dropped off drastically to the point where they had to start looking for other options, and they thought they had hope in Foles, and just one bad tackle, which. I don't even know where to start, because it just sucks, because that's the Jags' hope. I mean, I know not that their defense is bad, but I think the problem where they struggled last season was the fact that they didn't have a solid enough offense to get the job done and keep the defense off the field and rested for when they had to come back on the field. Yeah. And so if they have the similar problem, they're going to be at the bottom of the division easily because there's no way. I know the Texans they did already lose tonight to the Saints, and it was a close game. It wasn't like there was a lot of mistakes made either way. I know there were 2 interceptions, one for each team, but even still, the offense and defense look good for the Texans, looks good for the Colts, and the Titans, like we just said, they destroyed the Browns easily. So there are 3 great teams coming out of that division so far, at least from Week 1 results. Obviously we'll play this by ear as it goes along, but the Jags really got to step their game up, and however they're going to do it, if you need another quarterback or someone else to fill that hole that Foles was going to, hopefully you guys can figure that out because that's going to be a bad issue coming down the stretch if you guys don't have anything solid on offense because that's where you guys struggled, and it's going to be nothing but a headache for the fans and everyone else involved.
And I feel bad for Nick Foles.
With
the Eagles, he has proven himself time and again, and then he got traded. He started with the Eagles, did great, then got traded to the Rams, and was not so great. Then came back to the Eagles, won the Super Bowl with them, got traded, and now I don't know what's going to happen for him after this.
I'm pretty sure it's another injury he suffered a few seasons back with whatever team he was with, but this is a repeat injury with his clavicle, collarbone area. It's just getting tackled and landing on that shoulder. So, again, we don't want
to drink more milk.
get them calcium bones fortified. But so just like we've talked about before, we never wish for any injuries. So when they happen, they suck. And other injuries around the league, I even saw with the Rams versus the Panthers. Eric Weddle, he was going for a tackle or something, and I guess the guy had jumped up and kneed his helmet, not on purpose, mind you. But yeah, on the sideline, he apparently had a super huge gash on the side of his head that was just bleeding profusely. Ouch. Yeah, so hopefully he's got a speedy recovery too, and it's nothing that they have to worry too much about. But man, it was Foles went out. Funchess, I believe, with the Colts, he went out after the Charger game. He's going to be out for a few weeks. Tyreek Hill, that's a big weapon for the Chiefs. And
if you remember when we reviewed my fantasy football team, I had Tyreek Hill, and I was like, this is the best pick on my team. He should be reliable with Patrick Mahomes. Yep. And now I'm like, no. Yeah. So he's out. Melvin Gordon still hasn't signed, and I feel a little bit stranded right now.
Yeah, I can imagine. But I think you're still doing well, right?
I did win this week, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Wait, did I? I don't know that for sure. The other game hasn't finished yet.
Well, Lindsey's not doing too hot. The Broncos are only at 3 points as of now.
I'm going to win, guys.
Yeah, so that all being said, so there's a lot of injuries going around, but on a positive note, a lot of the trades have actually paid off for a lot of teams. I know the Redskins picked up Case Keenum. He actually fought pretty hard with the Redskins against the Eagles, and they almost pulled off a win. But again, it wasn't anything I would chalk up to necessarily his mistakes because I don't think he threw any interceptions, but he threw almost 400 yards and I believe 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So he has a bright, shining future with that team.
And he looked pretty good with the Vikings a few years ago. So I'm not too surprised.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was a good prospect that paid off. I'm trying to think who else. I can't say Foles, but I don't know. I know there were other people, other wide receivers. I think we talked about. Oh, a lot of the rookie ones. Let's see. We'll go to the Baltimore game against Miami. The rookie receiver that they had, that dude had over, I believe, 100 yards easily, and then also had 2 touchdowns and was just decimating the Miami Dolphins defense. And it was just crazy to see because the other fun factor, the same way we talked about Dak Prescott tearing it up as a quarterback, Lamar Jackson, man. Let's talk about him for a minute.
Good, yeah. And that receiver, that was, I think, Marquise Brown.
Yes, there we go. That is.
Guess who picked him up?
Oh, boy, yeah.
I hope that pans out. I don't know. Yes. They had an exceptionally good game, so we'll see what it's like on a more average day. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like you said, Lamar Jackson, there's been a lot of doubt on him because when you get a quarterback like him, you think, is he really that good in his rookie year, or is it just the teams haven't been able to study him enough and figure out defense for him? Apparently, Miami could not figure him out.
Not at all.
Yeah, so what, 5 pass touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't even rushing. He was an actual quarterback.
He rushed for 6 yards at one point, but yeah, he threw every single touchdown with over 300 yards as well. So
good for him.
He destroyed that defense. And granted, here's the other thing. I'm not to take anything away from the Ravens. They had a great victory, and we did talk about it earlier, like I said, with with other teams, destroying bad defenses. A great team should put up high scoring numbers like that. The only thing I'm worried about is the fact that this is Miami of all people. Like, they do not have anything. We saw Fitzpatrick struggle super hard, and I think even when they put in Josh Rosen for a bit, he threw an interception like the next play. So they have nothing going for them right now, and that team is. I don't know. Maybe they'll be the first team to actually have a 16-0 record, win the Super Bowl, and then also a 0-16 record because it's not looking pretty for you Dolphins fans. And
oh my goodness, Fitzpatrick is another guy that has been all over the place.
Right.
He can be good, but he can also be very bad. And I'll tell you what the pattern I've noticed with him is. Remember last season when he was with the Buccaneers?
Right.
Jameis Winston was either injured or suspended for the first 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So Fitzpatrick filled in and tore it up because he was fighting for the starting job.
Right.
It was like, if he plays well enough, he'll get the job. Well, guess what? He got the job. He was throwing 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, almost routinely.
Right. Like, why wouldn't you sign him?
Yeah.
Or make him the starter.
So he was named starter. From that point on, he was terrible. Like, instead of 4 touchdowns, it'd be 4 interceptions.
Yep.
Whenever he has the job to lose, he loses it.
In a grand fashion.
Yes.
So it's not even like it was close. He fought tooth and nail to win. No, he is
collapses. So polarized in that way. It's just, we'll see what the Dolphins figure out. Didn't they put in what was his name? The other guy, is it Rosen? Josh Rosen?
Yeah, I might have said Allen. That was my bad. But yeah, so anyway, they put in him, and he didn't do too hot either. Like I said, on the second possession he throws an interception. So there's no hope right now, Miami. I mean, as bad as the Browns fans have it with that blowout, Miami got destroyed even worse. So Browns fans, you don't have to feel too bad, I guess, this week.
Yeah, they got to come together as a team and figure something out. You heard about We talked about before this podcast these Dolphins players.
Mm-hmm.
There's how many of them? 10 of them that are expecting trades now.
There's a lot of them who I read an article. After the game and the destruction, it almost was like as bad as the was it the Bills that the Chargers played last season? And one of the guys just quit halftime during the game. Yeah. So basically, the same thing's happening. The players for the Dolphins want to have a mass exodus, and there's a report going around that they've talked to their agents saying, "I don't want to play for this team anymore. I don't want to be here. I don't want to keep losing. I'm tired of this. Yada yada yada." How do you feel?
That's absolutely insane.
Yep.
Man up and take responsibility for your team. I'm tired of this. All 10. Your entire team did badly. Why do you think you deserve to go to another team?
Yeah, you think
if you play like garbage, why should you be on a team that's good? Figure out your own stuff and make the team better.
He's getting feisty, man.
There's too many guys that don't know how to lead anymore. They just want to follow a team to a Super Bowl.
Right. They just want to tag along.
Yeah, it's like, come on, step up and be the player that the team needs.
Right, as opposed to, because it's like you said, it's you can't blame one person on this whole thing. I mean, yeah, you had the offense not doing too hot, but what did the defense do? They didn't stop Lamar Jackson. They didn't stop any of the receivers. They were getting destroyed left and right.
Every single player on that team failed.
Yep.
And for them all to be expecting trades, that's outrageous. Why would another team want you?
Yeah.
Figure out how to be a good player on your own, and maybe you can.
Yeah, maybe someone will pick you up and seek you out.
Maybe then you can go ahead and join a team that's got a chance at the Super Bowl because you can contribute something to them.
Yeah.
But don't just try to tag along. That's like we have bandwagon fans. Don't be a bandwagon player.
Yeah, don't do that.
Be the kind of guy that makes a team.
Yep. But it's kind of ironic enough. Speaking of, trying to jump ship to find a Super Bowl team, the big news with Antonio Brown. We're closing it out this week, folks. But my gosh, so just getting it out there. Start out with the facts of Antonio Brown was released by the Raiders, and I don't even think 24 hours later was signed and picked up.
It was the same morning.
Same morning.
Yeah.
Signed and picked up by the freaking New England Patriots, folks. What else do you have to give Tom Brady? Just give him the 7th ring already at this point. That's just horrible.
Oh my goodness. He looked good with just Edelman and Gordon out there.
Oh yeah, if you don't already know, they destroyed the friggin' Steelers, who should have put up at least a fight, 33-3.
Yeah.
If their Patriots are already decimating with their defense and their offense and crushing what's supposedly the number 2 team in the AFC after a decade of seasons here, they utterly obliterated and annihilated that team. If they can't fight them, what hope does anyone else have in the AFC at this point? It's just,
man.
Of all the teams that needed to get Antonio Brown, the freaking Patriots weren't one of them. But
I'll tell you what. I was hoping when I found out he got dropped, I was excited. I'm still I have mixed feelings because on the one hand, I don't really want him to play anymore.
Right. Yeah. There was a lot of crap going on. If you haven't read articles or you don't stay up to date,
Tried to fight the GM.
Yeah. Okay. So let's take this back. So there's speculation that. Originally, the Patriots did try to seek out the Browns the Steelers.
Brown.
Yeah, the one Brown. That's why I got it mixed up. They tried to get to the Steelers, talk to them about a possible trade option or something, so they could actually take Antonio Brown from the Steelers. But the Steelers, being a smart team, they're like, no, we're not going to give you a star wide receiver because you're one of our biggest opponents in the entire NFL.
Yeah.
We don't want to boost your guys' offense at the cost of ours. And so again, they did still obviously got rid of him, traded him to the Raiders because they figure, okay, whatever, he can go play with that team. But there's a report and speculation coming out now that the reason why Antonio Brown caused all this drama from, again, raising all the helmet issues, not showing up to practices and getting fined by the Raiders several times over, and even like Luke mentioned, he went and tried. At one of the practices, he literally tried to get in a fist fight with the Raiders general manager. And I think there's even reports, I don't know if this was true or not, but he was like calling him a cracker and whatever other racial slurs, just all kinds of stupidness. And this dude was acting a big fool. Like, there's no other way to put it. He was acting a fool and acting a fool and just destroying his reputation. At this point, I talked about on the other podcast where I would compare him to Randy Moss of just, I want to see a great receiver play because he's just someone that everyone wants to watch in the NFL. But after, like Luke said, after all this crap he's pulling and just mishandling the way he's behaving in the NFL, I like you, Luke, I don't want him to play in the NFL anymore at this point. He's so scummy, and then let alone the fact that he went to the friggin' Patriots, another team that I don't like. I mean, they're good, but I don't like them. So it's just, I'm not having fun with this one.
Yeah, so there's that part of me. Then there's the other part that's excited to see what happens now that Tom Brady has a good receiver. When was the last time he had a good receiver? Edelman is solid.
Last night.
Edelman, yeah, Gordon for sure. When Gordon is mentally healthy, he's looking good.
Yep, Gordon was solid.
But Edelman, I think, is more of a product of Brady than he is of himself. I don't know if Edelman would have been so successful with another team. Even with the Patriots, he's been pretty solid, but not a top 10 receiver. I would say.
Never. He's a good one to have on your team, but not one that's gonna ever, I don't think, would be top 10.
So now you put arguably the best receiver in the NFL on the Patriots, and I also have Tom Brady on my fantasy football team. So I'm also very excited and curious to see what happens.
I don't like it. I don't want to see it. It's just, I don't want to see Brady get 10. I don't want to see him get 10 rings, but if he's going to play till he's friggin' 50 years old at this point, all credit to him. I mean, for what, 42 now he is? His arm strength wasn't fading at all last night.
He was throwing. What was that pass to Josh Gordon? I think he threw that like 40 yards in the air, no problem.
Yeah,
it might even be closer to 50, but it was a long throw.
It was deep downfield, and I know some of the critics and myself included, we see a lot of highlight videos of Brady getting these awesome yards and stuff, and it's all just off of quick, pass plays, slant routes, whatever else. And then here he is, like I said, 40 plus years old, and he's still bombing it down the field. I'm just like, great. That's the last thing anyone needed to see.
Yeah.
But, who knows? Hopefully the Patriots can get stopped somehow, because maybe it's a divisional rival will come up and, spark some interest. I know it sounds far-fetched because they play it. I'll put it out there. I do believe the Patriots play in the easiest division in the NFL, but
I'll buy that. Yeah.
Even that being said, with divisional rivalries, you can never underestimate that with any game that goes on, because someone somewhere will figure something out and somehow still beat you, even if you are the Patriots. I mean, last season the Dolphins had that amazing game-winning touchdown where it was, I think, a kickoff and Gronk missed the tackle, which gave the Dolphins the win. So, anything's possible with divisional rivalries, and anything's still possible with the NFL. But people, hopefully most of you listening to this are joining me and with me on the fact that we do not want to see the Patriots in the Super Bowl again, because it's. I can't. I can't even put into words, man.
Yeah, you know what? They are in an easy division, and that would. I don't quite give that validity though for their record, because even when they play the hard teams, the hardest teams,
Right.
they win.
Yeah. And
So it's like they're in a tough division, yeah, but they're for real. They beat the best.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't take anything away from them beating the crap out of the Steelers last night. So I just, like I said, I can't put it into words, man. I don't want to see that Super Bowl happen or play out. It's not going to be enjoyable for me.
Yeah, do we have anything else for sports though?
You know,
because football was the biggest thing.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I think ending it on that note would probably be better. The only other thing I had to add in, and just kind of contradicted myself. Go figure. Like I said, Khabib choked out Dustin Poirier at the UFC fight this last weekend. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but yeah. So like I said, he retained the title, and I figured he would because the dude's just all around a good fighter.
Yeah,
he knows how to throw strikes. He knows that his ground and pound is like one of his biggest strengths. So yeah, he handled business, got it done. So he's still the champion.
Well, we'll go back to football really quick.
All right.
Talking about Khabib, DeAndre Hopkins looked like a UFC fighter.
Oh man,
you see that tackle he made after the interception?
Yeah, that was literally tonight's Saints game that we watched before recording this podcast, where there was an interception on Deshaun Watson threw an interception, and DeAndre Hopkins had to quickly play defense to stop the guy from running the ball back, and he stopped the guy from running the ball back. He picked him up, gave him that friggin' suplex from WWE. Oh man. But, sure enough, he did get flagged for it. I don't know if he'll get fined later on, depending on the severity of it. But either way, just, oh, my goodness. He gave that guy the suplex of the century.
Oh, my goodness. And let me talk about baseball really quick.
Okay.
It is still baseball season. I want to remind you guys that.
And the Angels are still losing and sucking.
Yeah, the Angels.
Sorry.
It's sad. But there is one bright spot, and that's Mike Trout.
Yay.
We have an interesting situation developing in the MLB right now.
In the NLB.
There are more home runs now than ever before. And we have home run leaders, man. This is a battle for 50, maybe?
Dude, really?
Nobody's going to get 60, but people are going to be finishing over 50.
Right.
So let me go through these home run totals for you.
All right.
We have Mike Trout, Pete Alonso, and Cody Bellinger. They all have 45 home runs.
40, wow.
45. All three of them have 45. And then close behind them, Christian Yelich. And then, I don't remember his first name, but Suarez with the Reds.
Okay.
They both have 44.
Sheesh.
This is close. It's as close as it gets. There's 5 guys that are hitting like this.
Yeah, that's basically everyone's tied. I mean, like you said, it's a one
Anything
run difference.
can happen. We have the rest of the month of December. And that's it. So I'm excited to see what happens.
But so Trout is tied for first then.
Yes, Trout is leading
so he
the
came
way.
up. He came up quite a bit then, because I thought he was down like 5 or so.
No, he's been pretty much.
Who was the guy? Who was the guy who was in the lead? Was he with the Dodgers at some point?
Cody Bellinger, yeah.
No, not Bellinger. Wasn't there someone else though who like had the lead all alone by himself for a while?
Yeah, it was Cody Bellinger.
I swear I thought there was someone else, but okay,
No,
maybe I'm just misremembering.
No, yeah, it was definitely Cody Bellinger, and then Pete Alonso. He's the other guy tied at 45.
Okay,
he's a rookie with the Mets.
Dude, okay, if I don't want it to happen, because I do still want my Angels to have some kind of victory with this season, so I would like it to go to Trout. But that being said, if this rookie can pull it out, like how amazing would that be? That'd be MLB history.
He's got a shot at breaking Aaron Judge's rookie home run record.
Was that 47?
No, I think Aaron Judge hit in the 50s, I think.
In the 50s,
it was like 51 maybe.
I was just taking a wild shot guess. I had no education on that one, but...
No, I think it was like in the 50s, and that was like, 2-3 years ago?
Okay.
But yeah, that would be interesting to see if he could break it. Still, though, I'm hoping for Mike Trout.
Yes, of course.
I still think Trout is the obvious shoo-in for MVP. People will get on it and say, you can't be an MVP if you're not on a contending team. It's like, give me a break. It's not football.
It's most valuable player. Like literally, it's in the title, folks. Like it doesn't matter if your team went to playoffs or not. You could have a star running back or a star quarterback that destroys records the same way. Cam Newton. I don't know if it was the year he went to the Super Bowl or not, but when he got the NFL's rush touchdown record and everything. It's like whether or not you go shouldn't matter. That's what we're saying here. If you're the most valuable player in the entire league and you're putting up more points than anyone else, you're the most valuable player in the entire league, whether it's baseball, football, whatever.
And I realize some of you need some convincing. And let me give you a few reasons. First of all,
he's an Angel fan. No,
baseball is not basketball. Someone like LeBron James could, he didn't with the Lakers this season, but he could turn a team around completely. I understand if in basketball you want to say if they're not on a contending team, he's obviously not valuable enough.
Right.
Fine. That's basketball. Football, one step closer, but still with football, a player could make a team sometimes if they're a quarterback. Maybe they can really change things around.
Right.
But still, football is a little bit more like baseball. It's much more dependent on the team, and baseball even more so than football. You got to have a good team around you. And one guy is not going to make a difference because at the end of the day in the MLB, everybody is pretty much of equal talent.
Mm-hmm.
Any given day, what's going to separate you from another guy? You'll probably go 1 for 3 maybe. Mm-hmm. That's a decent day.
Right.
If you go 0 for 3, congratulations. You had one more hit than me today.
Yeah.
Every single day, it's pretty much the same. It's over a long course of 162 games, that you really start to see a difference.
Right.
So that's the first reason. I can't remember what my other reasons were.
Well, I hope you remember it soon because you're the guy who's bringing the baseball stuff up.
Oh, man. Anyway, it's just not the same. And here's my next thing. Take Mike Trout.
Right.
Put him on a good team. If you put him on the Yankees, you know they're going to win 10 more games.
Oh, yeah.
That's who cares what team he's on. You can imagine putting him on another team. You can imagine the results. It's just going to make that team better. He's the most valuable player. If you take him off the Angels, oh my goodness!
If you took him off the Angels,
hopeless.
yeah, there would be. I mean, I don't even think we're in the line for a wild card spot at this point.
Remember what happened with the Dolphins this week? That's what the Angels would be like if we didn't have Mike Trout. He does more to bring up a team than anybody else,
right?
And that's why he definitely deserves to be the AL MVP.
Yep. Yeah.
NL is tougher because you got Alonso,
right there. Yeah.
Bellinger,
several people that are close at the top,
and Suarez. All 4 of those guys. All 4 of the other home run leaders are from the National League.
Yep.
And then Bellinger and Yelich still have averages that are pushing 320. So I don't know, man.
It'll be close, but like we said, like we're hoping for, hopefully Trout can pull it out before the season's over.
Yeah. So I mean, he's going to win the AL MVP. Everybody loves him, and that's at the end of the day, it's going to be like who do the sports writers appreciate the most?
Right.
And it's going to be Mike Trout.
Yep. All right, folks. Well, all that being said, and there was a lot of all that being said. Wow, I'm looking at the recording now. We are close to almost an hour and 40.
Yeah,
dude.
Wow.
We talk too much. Not no. If you guys find it entertaining, we'll keep talking.
Oh my goodness!
Even if you don't find it,
when
we'll
we
keep
finally
talking.
get John back in here, it's gonna be like 2 hours long.
Dude, could you imagine?
Are you guys okay with that? With a 2-hour podcast? We hope so.
Yeah, we're okay with it. Oh
hey,
yeah, see, you heard
they
from
like
the audience.
Very cool.
All right. Well, like I said, we're going to be wrapping up here. So, folks, I hope you've had a good weekend and you look forward to the week ahead. But yeah, so we'll be talking to you soon.
See you later, guys.
Have a good week. Woo!